shapes coming down the front of our bot here. And if we count them up, it looks like if we want to match exactly, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those. And we can use this as a guide if we want to, but overall it's going to be a capsule shape. So let's go ahead and bring in a capsule. And let's bring in another cloner. We'll orient our capsule correctly by changing it from plus Y to plus X, just like that. Drop it inside of the cloner. The cloner itself will go ahead and move up into position here. And now let's take our capsule and make it a more appropriate size. So we'll take the radius down, take the height down. Let's take the cloner, the whole cloner, and pull it forward here. And then we can kind of use this, if we want to, use it as a guide here. So let's take our radius again down to kind of match up what we see here. I'm just kind of looking at that bottom one. Move it down to match up with that one. I'll take the radius down a little bit more. And the height. So something like that. Just again matching up that bottom one, and let's pull it out so that it is kind of sticking halfway out there. So something like that. Now they're not exactly, we don't have quite the number that we want. So let's go back in here and start to match that up. So with the cloner selected, we'll go to Object, and let's start to increase our count. And we also need to bring down our Y movement. So that's going to be about right. And then we'll increase our count. We get something like that. Now, one thing that is different is the fact that these get bigger as they go up. So if we play around with the scaling, you can see that we can actually change the scaling based on each individual clone. And so we want to change the X scaling. So let's come in here, and we can use both of these if we want to, kind of as a simple guide. And let's increase that scaling. And that's going to increment the scaling up until it gets up to the top and create a nice smooth transition. So we get something like that. You can take the cloner overall, and we can move it into the surface if we want to. If this is sort of angled, which it looks like it might be angled just a hair, you can also take the movement of it. Oops. So the position of it. So it will be in the Z. We'll just put that into the surface just a little bit, maybe 0.2, and you get something like that. So again, we've still got this as a primitive. We haven't had to convert it or do anything else to it. We can still go back and change it, and we can even, bring in a completely different shape if we wanted to. But that cloner gives us the ability to duplicate it across the surface and have a lot of control over where those are placed. So get something like that. And then in the next lesson, let's create a power button using some splines in a sort of really interesting way, where we take the splines and combine them and do some sort of Boolean operations with those splines to get a unique look. So